Hey, hey, hey. All right, we should be live. Check, check. What's up? It's your boy DJ L7, and I'm here with a very special guest and recently had his birthday. My man, 32 years of age right now. You know what I mean? I'm actually 40 something. You know what I mean? My man Chris is really, for his age, he's amazingly knowledgeable about this political stuff, man. Yeah, most 30-year-olds are not really this deep in the game. Much
hmm
respect, man.
hmm
So, yeah, man. Um, we're talking about a variety of topics today. I guess we're starting off with the this recent Friday. I was at the Gaia Brewer Democratic Club. My friend Fiocchino had invited me, and I saw some. And this is really just such a to have a partner like Chris Leon Johnson. I was and you know what? Maybe I kind of want to like keep him to myself, but I also want to share him because he's just such a great resource. I was at the club and I saw everybody was there. I was like, you know what? I better call Chris because I need to know what's going on here. I see some people here. Chris will know what's going on. Chris did know what was going on. Tell us a little. What is the Guy R Brewer Democratic Club for people who don't know?
First of all, thank you for having me on your show for the fifth week. I appreciate it. But thank you. Happy Sunday. Happy March 26th. A day after my birthday is that I had a great birthday. Covered a few events yesterday. Had a great time. Had some cake with my family. And, you know what I mean? Great 32nd birthday. Now, diving into the Guy Brewer Club. Guy Brewer Club is based in St. Albans, Queens. Yesterday, you was at the headquarters for the Guy Brewer Democratic Club. What people need to start understanding about let's educate about democratic about political clubs. Basically, what they do is they get people engaged in civically engaged in politics. Their clubs they vary on size. Some there are clubs that are big, there are clubs that are small, there are clubs that are medium size. The point is to get people civically engaged, get people to vote, and get people to be more politically involved into their communities. Um, the Guy Brewer Democratic Club is one of the biggest clubs in New York City. It's a political club that is centered on Black people, like African Americans to be exact. It has the African American voter bloc. It has the African American voter base, especially in Queens. It's predominantly centered in Queens and is usually centered in Southeast Queens. Southeast Queens is Far Rockaway, Auburn, Edgemere, um, South Ozone, I think it's South Side Jamaica Queens, St. Albans, Laurelton, um, and there's a few other. I think I'm losing count, but anywhere like there's a big majority African American voter population, you might well say Southeast Queens, and that club attracts the African Americans, that type of voter base. This is for anybody that want to run for any big time office. Let's say um, like Congress in that district, or state assembly in that district, or any of those districts, especially if you run for citywide seat, like the mayor, or the controller, or the public advocate, or the borough seat, like the Queens Borough president, and like the governor, lieutenant governor, attorney general, the New York State controller.
And to show how
Yeah,
much juice they had, they actually had Hakeem Jeffries speaking at the event. So I
yeah.
was like, "Ooh,
So
this
that's
is
the
big
thing.
time.
Yeah,
These people are real serious."
Hakeem Jeffries based in Brooklyn. Now we'll talk about Hakeem Jeffries later, how this is coming to. But going back to that, if you want to get the support from the Black voter bloc, you got to go to the Guy Brewer Democratic Club. That's one of the clubs you got to get into to get their support, because they actually go out there, they door knock, and they get a lot of votes. Um, the person, I don't think he was there yesterday. You gotta let me know or not. His name is Gregory Meeks. He's like
He
one
was
of the
there.
top. He's one. I think he's one of the top people of the club. He's the first. He's the congressman of that district. He runs the fifth district, the congressman, and he's the district leader, and he's the county chair. He replaced Joseph Crawley as a county chair since Joseph Crawley got embarrassed by AOC. He had to resign. So now Gregory Meeks is the county chair. Gregory Meeks is approachable. He's a good guy. You know, it's not bad. He's not an asshole, which is great. Um, but Gregory Meeks is Gregory Meeks. You know, he's a county chair. And the thing is, over there, I don't know what was the real thing about that meeting yesterday, but you got to. I think 2023 is a year that city council races. You got petitioning that's going on, so I think they need people still not signing the petitions. And then Melinda Katz was there yesterday. I heard on Friday. I heard you,
Yeah.
Dio. Melinda Katz is running for running again. Her first, second, trying to get a second term as the Queens District Attorney. She's going against a Republican opponent this year, and she has to campaign because what's going on in Queens? There's a heavily growing Republican population, and people over there get sick of the Democrats, especially in Flushing, the Ron Ken district, the what's her name, the Sandra Ung district, the Grace Ming district, and Grace Ming, Ung, Kim, and Lou. They are getting sick of the Democrats over there. So what's going on? The Republicans over there, they feeling that they have a chance of taking that Queens district attorney seat because of the high crime. People get sick of the crime. People get sick of the Democrats, especially the certain Democrats over there, gaslighting and throwing people to the bus when they're victims.
Melinda
Especially
Katz
that.
also recently has tried to play the tough on crime thing with arresting a whole bunch of like gang members, stuff like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean to keep it
She
real,
played that up at
I
the
like
event too.
Melinda Katz. I mean, I like her. She's not like the other ones. She's not like a true hired gun like Eric Gonzalez and Alvin Bragg and what's her name, Darcel Clark. Darcel Clark is running for city.
Wait a
For
second. You're saying Alvin Bragg is a hired gun?
Yeah, he's like a hack.
Okay, but
He's a
he's
hack.
very actually. So you think that he's just doing what Mayor Adams wants, or because he's
No,
actually made a lot
he's
of
doing
progressive
don't.
type of like people also
Yeah,
say the same things about Bragg as they do about Melinda Katz, too soft on crime, blah blah blah.
yeah. I mean, it just like Bragg is way worse. I mean, it just like he's like a hire. He got did about a donors. It's a long story with him. He's not. He has no real legislative experience. The difference from like Katz and McMahon from the other three is that those two were foreign legislators. Katz was in the city council. Katz was the Queensborough president. Now we ran for DA in 2019 as the Queensborough president versus Tippy Gaban. And she won the Queensborough president. She won the DA race, and then she won the general election. And then after that happened, uh, there had to be a special election.
Now,
But what happened because of that's why I don't think if Donovan Richards was there, the Queensborough president, if Katz wasn't DA, Richards would not have been Queensborough. Richard would probably been Queensborough president in 2020. This is in 2022. Um, as his first term, he wouldn't have got it on a special. Richards got his on a special. But Katz was a legislator. So Katz know that Katz and McMahon's based in Staten Island, which really calls Richmond County. They both know that they have to what's it called again? You have to go to the legislator and get these bills changed, especially with bail reform. And they're totally correct by that. You gotta be in the state assembly and the state senate to get bail reform upheld. So if you want to do it, run for state assembly, run for state senate. So that's I don't know what was going down with that, but I think that's why she got the endorsement for Hakeem Jeffries. Hakeem Jeffries got a lot of weight. He's based in Brooklyn. He's the Democratic majority. He's the minority leader for in Congress. But his name has a lot of weight. So
a lot of people came out actually. There's a whole nother story. I got a video coming out about that actually before the event happened. They had like people come up to me and say like I wouldn't be allowed to film. A lot of other people were filming, but they there was like a lot of protection going on. But on the side of that, right, the thing is that talking about Melinda Katz for a second, one thing they mentioned at the event was that she only had won by 60 votes. Isn't that true that that's the race
yeah,
versus Caban, not versus the
yeah,
Republican opponent?
she won. Yeah, she won by 60 votes.
It
It
was
was a
very
tough race.
close, right?
But Caban, what happened with Caban, people don't understand was they was trying to push like AOC. AOC won a race against Joseph Crawley in the Democratic primary.
Yeah, I also heard that
She
Caban and
ultimately
AOC are personal friends. I just found this out
they
recently. I heard
they
this.
are they are personal friends. So we'll get yes, they are personal friends.
Interesting.
They are close. She recently
Okay.
invited out to Congress to see Congress a few weeks ago. To be exact, be honest with
I
you.
didn't know. Okay.
So let's go back to this. Caban, AOC won in 2018, right? It was a other person that won that race in 2018 and for state senate that was named Alexandra Biaggi. She took out Jeff Klein, which completely destroyed and completely ended the IDC. Now they were trying to repeat that a year after in 2019 with Timmy Gabon, the Justice Democrats and the Progressives. They were trying to push Timmy Gabon like AOC. They were trying to give her
Yeah.
the AOC push. Like
So
they
wait,
put
I
the
got a quick
AOC.
question because what happened at the event was that Theo Chino ended up disrupting the event because the thing is that he was actually arguing about the fact that they were mentioning, right, instead of talking about the Republican and being out the Republican, they were celebrating Melinda's Katz win over Tiffany Caban. And he's like, that's like infighting, right? That's another Democrat. Why are y'all celebrating that? Really, we should be focused on, instead of why are we more intent on beating up on, you know, other party members? And that did so. Like I thought he was gonna get thrown out right after he started like jumped up and said what's going on, but they let him stay. And I guess that he said that the reason why I talked to him afterwards, he said the reason why he thought he was allowed to stay was because he pointed out the internal inconsistency of what was going on.
You got the video of it?
Yeah, I do. It's coming out.
All right, cool, perfect,
Yeah,
perfect. I
and
got it here.
also,
So,
the thing is that Melinda Cat, just want to quickly mention this.
hmm
I don't know if you've seen it in my work with Reverend Keith Gadsden and Nolan Farrell, but we've been
yeah,
fighting
so
to for their exoneration for over a year now, and there's been delays, and it's been really unfortunate. Actually, while Melinda Katz was giving her speech, she was looking right at me. Right, I think she was worried that I was gonna pop off, and she started looking around the crowd to see if like maybe Reverend Keith Gadsden and Nolan Farrell were there. Just so you
hmm
know, she was trying to get endorsement for National Action Network. If you watch the video series, we actually booed her at the event because she's been stalling on exonerating Nolan Farrell and Reverend Keith Gadsden. Not only that, she's protecting her down person named Catalano, some guy named John Catalano, who actually was responsible for covering up information for Nolan Farrell's case, where he was actually locked up for 10 years with proof of his innocence.
hmm
So the thing is that, right, I know people make mistakes, but
yeah,
um, the delays that have been going on. So
hmm
even at National Action Network, Al Sharpton has refused to endorse Melinda Katz until this problem is settled. You get what I mean? So
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
So I
yeah.
have
But
ongoing business with that, but because I was there for Theo Chino, right? I actually just I hand out my cards so people can get to know at the Geyer Brewer Club about the situation going on with Reverend Keith Gadsden and Nolan Farrell. But I don't
hmm
plan on letting this go through, and I'm also interested in finding her other competition primary candidates to find out if they are actually going to address this issue. If
yeah,
by the way, if you're watching this, if you ever or anybody supporting Melinda Katz gets to watch this, if you speed up the process from we've been waiting for over a year. We caught you at National Action Network not just this year but the year before. It's time for us to get justice and the exoneration, and that
oh,
needs to happen like real soon.
yeah. All
Sorry.
right.
Okay.
So, well, yeah, I know that. What was talking about? We had 60 votes. Like they were trying to put. We'll talk about that in a few minutes about the gas and how you got to get around that. That's how it should start. That's how they start listening. Um, but like I said, they push like AOC, and they gave her the media attention. They gave everything like that. Now, what happened, and that's what messed them up, was a lot of the people was trying to make sure that Caban didn't win because they people that her policy was over was like radical as fuck. I totally understand. Now there was one endorsement that if she had the endorsement, she would have won. It was a 32BJ endorsement. Now 32BJ, they did endorse Caban.
Wait, what is 32 BJ?
It's a union. It's a labor union.
Okay, for
They
for
deal with
what
the
for
building,
what field?
buildings and trades, buildings
Okay.
and security like maintenance. They do like buildings, basically like commercial buildings like that, buildings and facilities. So, but the 32BJ works with a lot of progressives. They work with a lot of progressive organizations.
Okay.
They do a lot of training with them under the table, like behind the scenes. So they was expecting that to typically be endorsed by 32BJ. 32BJ gave it a finger and gave it to Katz. Pissed off the progressives, pissed off a lot of progressive organizations. Like, how dare you guys endorse Katz over Caban?
Why did they do that?
Because that was by machine. It's machine runs the unions. The machine runs all the unions. If you're not down with machine, you're not getting a union endorsement. That's how it works. Um, so they gave it to Katz, and ultimately Katz won the race by 60 votes. I think she was trying to say she had a tough race. She did have a tough against Caban, but good thing about it is Caban has been neutralized. Caban would never run for DA because she completely destroyed Astoria for her own out of spite. But now she's not DA, which is good. So Katz have a tough thing to run again this year. You never know what's going to happen in the general election. She's going to win the primary in a landslide.
Wait, what do you mean she destroyed Astoria?
Like she completely did the zoning changes, just like that, zoning and etc.
It allowed it
And
to get gentrified, or you mean like
yeah,
created
that
more
place is
crime?
that area is gentrified. It's not a lot of crime over there. The area is just straight gentrified. It's
Yeah.
different over there. So she's not going to be DA. I mean, she's done for that. She might well stay city council. That's why she's real miserable as hell because she knows she won't come DA so bad, but she can't. She messed up. So just what it is with that. Now going forward to the Keith Gatson situation, I don't really know what's really going on with that. Um, I'll tell you guys right now on the stream about this situation that happened last year. That's how cast know who I am personally because there was a case that was under I think the last DA Brown, but it fell onto Katz's lap because when you're DA, you get the old cases from your predecessor, like any district attorney,
Right.
you get your
True.
predecessor. So
Yeah.
there's a case that was called there's a case that was dealing with this guy named Prakash Shuran. It's a Guyanese dude, Guyanese guy.
Okay.
Now he was accused of I think accused of murder. He was accused of murdering somebody, and allegedly he was coerced into saying that he killed the guy.
Yeah.
So later, what happened was the lawyers, his lawyers, found out that he got coerced into saying it by dirty cops, alleged dirty cops, because I won't get sued. Alleged dirty cops. Their records, they're horrible, so you can say they're dirty. That's a different. That's a different thing. So the community, like a lot of progressives, was out there fighting the case. They was out there fighting it, like, yo, he been there 90 times and 80 times, 70 times, 60 times, and Cass need to drop the charge. They did that under Brown. They did that under Brown. Brown said, fuck you guys, I'm not doing it. So when Cass got the case, because she came DA 2020, um, they was trying to tell her, like, you got to drop the charges. They was out there every time. I was out there supporting. I wasn't out there as press. I was out there supporting them, like as like a supporter. It got viral. A lot of people start finding out, and then suddenly they dropped the charges. There was a lot of officials that came out and supported, like Zoran Madami, Shahana Hanif. There was a lot of people that was out there supporting them. And then suddenly later on, Cass dropped the charges. Cass completely said, "No, I'm not prosecuting the guy no more." That was during the primary of last year. I think it was like 20 days before the primary day. I'm not gonna prosecute the guy. So it was kind of like, yeah, okay, yeah, it was primary time, and you didn't want your people to lose out of spite, and you endure it. So that's what happens. You got to go out there and keep on fighting it. You got to go out there. You got to go out there and keep on fighting it. Now the thing with Sharpton is a full of shit. I could say that I'm black, so I said that he's crap. He's no
Okay.
fucking good. Sharpton will do anything that his donors and his handlers will tell him to do. Now, when it comes to with a Katz endorsement,
Well, the reason also
he,
is that Reverend Keith Gadsden and Nolan Farrell have been regularly going to National Action Network, getting to know everybody on the ground. So it makes
mm-hmm,
it difficult for Al Sharpton to not address their issue because they've been going regularly to his
yeah, but
meetings.
sometimes he could do it and he wouldn't give a fuck.
I mean, they don't really have, like, I know these guys. It's not like they have, like, a machine behind them or they're, like, former
Mm-hmm.
politicians or anybody really supporting them other than myself, really. I help the people that don't get help. They're kind of like, it's them and me. Like, we're just out there trying to, like, make it happen.
Yeah. But not even stop police. They're not
I'm sorry, your audio's kind of dropping out.
stop false police reporting. Stop false
Oh,
reporting.
yeah, I
They're
know
not
that
with
guy,
them.
yeah. I seen him.
He's not with them. He's not with them.
No. Well, actually, he started picking up a little bit lately, right? Yeah. There's one thing that, oh, it's interesting that you know that guy because I've seen that guy a bunch. We've
Yeah.
seen each other at events. He's never really picked us up. He seems to have his own thing going, right?
Yeah.
But there was something that happened recently with Nolan Farrell, not Reverend Keith Gadsden, but they did something with Cordell Clear recently. So recently, maybe they're starting to pick it up, but I have not seen anything really in depth, and that was only one time.
Yeah, so the thing about Sharpton, he will endorse her. I think he will might have to endorse her. But because remember she's DA, she allowed discretion what goes on in these cases, and I don't think he want himself getting a jam or people.
I'm sorry, you dropped your audio drop out again.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you. It sounds like something like you'll hear like something rubbing against the mic. Like I still
Oh
hear it
yeah,
rubbing, but
I think
like I
you
don't
can hear
hear
me
you
now.
talking. You'll
Can
see
you
it
hear
on
me
the
now?
playback. Yeah, I can hear
Can
you
you hear me
now.
now?
Yeah, yeah, I can hear you
Yeah,
now.
so I think Katz did it. Katz probably. I mean, I think he will endorse it anyway because Katz will. Katz will do. Katz can do a lot of things out of spite as a DA. Any DA can do anything out of spite as a DA. So Sharpton, you can't trust the guy. I think he will endorse her just to be an opportunist and say, "Well, I helped you out to get elected." You know what I mean? He's a full of shit, but that's how it goes
It's
with
gonna be
that.
tough because if you watch the footage, when he invited Melinda Katz to speak at the event, and multiple times you'll see his staff members trying to get in the way and not like allowing us to really do our thing. But when Melinda Katz was speaking, we started booing, right? Yeah, like it's really hard for them to actually, for Al Sharpton to successfully have Melinda Katz at National Action Network without us raising hell until we get justice. You see what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's really just we're out there just trying to make it happen. Like whatever like
Yeah,
going on with that other stuff that you talked about earlier, I don't really know about that stuff.
yeah. I
We're
mean,
just
I
and you
don't
know what,
blame.
me and Melinda Katz don't have like any like real beef beyond me trying to get justice for
Yeah, that's your
yeah for
fight.
the
So
kind
you
of
have
on
the
the
right.
road.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah. So let's go forward to the other topic. We're gonna be here all day with
I'm
this.
so sorry, man. Yeah, but I really appreciate the
No.
insight on this stuff.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
once again,
yeah.
I'm willing to give Melinda Katz a chance, but she needs to be a little bit more, responsive. Some things are moving forward, right? To tell the truth, just so you know, actually on Monday, I'm going to be doing a video reenactment of the crime scene for Reverend Keith Gadsden to try to, move that forward. So,
That's great. I like.
32 years of
I
being in
can't.
prison, that's a long time.
I can't wait to see that.
Yeah, well, I'm so backed up. Oh my God, yeah, this is crazy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know.
There's
Trust
a
me. I'm
no.
with
Theo Chino came out. Yeah, that video is coming out. I have Carmen Bellaciu, right, and implicating all kinds of things. Oh my God, yeah.
you.
Well, let me go to the next topic coming up. And oh, so let's talk about. Recently, you did this event, and I was very interested in. Wait. Before that, I just want to ask right quick. Just it's still relevant to this one. The Democratic clubs, the Guy R. Brewer, that was really quite an eye opener. At the meeting, they were talking about like appointing the judges and all this other thing. What are some of the other powerful clubs that I should be, or that some of my listeners should know about?
Four Freedoms, Chelsea Reformed Democratic Club, the Hell's Kitchen, the Jim Oles Democratic Club, Stonewall Democrats. You have the Brooklyn Young Democrats. You have IND, that's in Brooklyn. You have the Shirley Chisholm Democratic Club. You have the Stella Diggs Democratic Club.
And these are like the more power players. There's
Yeah,
like
power players.
probably
You
thousands of
want
these clubs. Yeah,
votes? You want voter blocks? You want votes? Go to those clubs. They still
appreciate
got some power.
I appreciate that, man. We're really
Never
finding
let
out the
anybody
machine,
try to
man.
downplay a political club, and never let anybody downplay a county committee. We'll dive into that type of crap later on in the show. We'll talk about that person when we get a chance.
You're
Yeah,
extremely knowledgeable. I'm just really
let's talk about
such
that later
appreciation.
on. We'll talk about that. We'll get into that later on. This is how we'll bring up the other guy too. We have no time. So
Yeah.
let's talk. Let's talk about this right now while we here. And we want to board the audience. That allow.
Yeah, I feel you. Yeah. Hey, you
hmm
recently did this event that I was super. You invited me to this thing called the There's something called the floor area ratio, right? There's some
hmm
type of rally to prevent the easement or the lifting of floor area ratio standards that are existing right now.
hmm
And I was actually you invited me out to that one. You do so many like you so many events, but sometimes you're like, yo, call an audible or come to this one. This one's more important. So the floor area ratio was very interesting to me because if you think about it, right, we know that what a deathlock the developers have on the industry, and a lot of the machine, because a lot of money coming in for local politics, and it's the number one corrupting influence. And really, the floor area ratio has to do with zoning, and the number one beneficiary, I think, of lifting the floor area ratio restrictions would be developers who are trying to
hmm
build buildings and say, instead of having 200 people live here, we want to have 250 people living in this, or instead of having like 200, two-bedroom apartments, we want to have 300 one-bedroom apartments in here. So the thing is that for the politicians to come out and go against the floor area ratio lifting, it's not something that's easy to understand like tax the rich or something like that. It's a more complex subject that you have to kind of know about zoning. So it's not going to get a huge popular support or recognition, but the politicians come out against this publicly. They're almost putting themselves in the bullseye target to go against developers. So I was like, yo, the people who are
Mm-hmm.
going out there, this is really some serious stuff. So I was just busy doing stuff and I was running late. It was a cold, rainy day, so by the time I would have arrived there, I was planning on getting there about 9:45 or 10:45. The event started at 10, I think. So I
Mm-hmm.
would have been too late. But yeah, who was there? You were there at that event.
All right, so it started at 10 o'clock. It started at 10:03 to be exact. So who was there? It was Senator Liz Kruger. She covers Midtown. She covers Midtown West. She covers Kips Bay. She covers she covers like little like the mid part of Manhattan, like mid Manhattan, like East Side, West Side, mainly Midtown, the core area. That's her district. That's Liz Kruger, state senator, District 28. I think it's 28 now. Depends on the zoning changes. Then you had Deborah Glick, District 66. That's little part of Old Lower. I think like lower part, Lower East Side. I think it's like some part of Lower East Side. Deborah Glick, District 66, state assembly member. Then you have assembly member Grace Lee, the great Grace Lee. She covers Chinatown. She covers that district, be exact. 18 Lobo, that's her district. City Hall, that's her district. Wall Street, Angel, that's her district. And then you had Grace. Then you had Christopher Marte. Chris Marte, he's this council member. He covers basically Lower Manhattan. And then you had the Grand Street Democrats. Then you had the historic preservation. Then you had the village preservation. The Lower East Side land initiative. Basically, that's it. That's who
Also,
was
wait,
there.
also Allie Ryan. She's not actually elected, but she's a candidate.
Yeah, she's
She
running
was
against
also there.
Carmen. She's running against Carmen Rivera. She was there. I didn't even know she was there. I was busy covering the event. It was so cold and raining, and I
Yeah,
had a bad stomach. I had a bad stomach ache, so I wasn't able to
you're a
concentrate.
warrior, man. I appreciate you for real.
Yeah, so I had to try to get it done, and
So why do you think these people are these people somehow like a little bit more like proof to developers, or are they? Why would make them willing to take on developers like this in an open way?
because
Like,
the community they actually go out there and vote. They're not playing around. They learned that from what's her name? Margaret Chen. Margaret Chen was a pro developer elected official. A lot of people didn't like Margaret Chen. Now that's why they feeling it because they know what's going on, and they know it's a target in that area. It's a target in that bowl, the Lower Manhattan bowl, especially Chinatown. The Chinatown is a target. They want to gentrify Chinatown. They want to destroy. They want to make Chinatown and Little Part of Lower East Side the playland for developers. So about Deborah Glick last year that she ran against a open New York for all candidate named Ryder Kessler. They put the machine behind him. They was trying to get this guy to state assembly like Warner Dilla like the Warner Dilla of Manhattan, and he got soundly rejected. I didn't want to support Ryder Kessler because he was too developer. Everybody knew what that was about. He was trying to get the developers shit up, and then he was trying to get the homeless people in there, like the all the bullshit with that. So he got soundly rejected by the people for Glick. And Glick is not really out there. It's rare you see a Deborah Glick at a press conference. It's rare to see a Liz Kruger at a press conference, and it's rare to see a Christopher Marte. So that's like a rare press conference you ever see all those guys to make an advocate for a cause. So they actually listen to their constituents because the constituents don't want this stuff because they know what's going to happen. It's going to be a lot of displacement,
what do you
and they
think
don't
makes them
want that.
particularly, able to fight off the developer money? You said it's the community involvement and community
It's
understanding of the
real
situation.
community involvement and real community understanding of it. And the thing is, people in that community are willing to vote for people that fight against developers. That's how Grace Lee got into state assembly because she was willing to fight against developers. She even people complain about her being at the fight at the end, but she was in the fight with Christopher Marte in 2017. She was in the
Okay.
fight with Christopher Marte in 2020. She was in the fight against with Christopher Marte when he was running for city council in 2021. So just because of photos doesn't mean anything. Yeah, the photo looked like she came at the end of the fight in 2022, but That's just fucking photos. She was a lot. She was at a lot of fights. She was at a lot of fights. She was there for the Chinatown thing, the shelters. I have my photos to prove it. She was there for the fights with her team. With the Chinatown shelters, the shelters that was going on in Chinatown last year. She was there for the fights.
You
Um,
know, I used to, just
so
so you know, I personally did not used to like to be in pictures and stuff like that because I thought it was for all the fakes and stuff like that. But I
yeah,
realized
man, me too.
being an activist later on, right, that because I did not take pictures, right, later on, all the fakes had the pictures, and that actually led to problems later on, me being able to verify and have credibility. So I
Hmm.
realized that my distaste, whether I liked it or not, I should have done it, and it led to a lack on my part. So I agree with the that's something I felt like I learned, and even recently when I was working the, I became idealistic again. I said, let me step back and let the, put together People's Party and Yang people to march on Chambers. I said, let me step back. That bit me in the butt again. So I've learned, right, to lift, or not just to lift myself, but also lift people like yourself that are out there doing the real work, and to really
Hmm.
shine a light on them, because if you don't, right, the light will be shined on the fakes, and
Yeah,
right. And I know, not here to let people say blah blah, you're just a glory hound. See, not really. It's annoying to be famous, straight up. Yeah, people who are famous know, right? You get surrounded by entourage and fake people and yes men, and that block you off from reality. But we have to give credit. And once again, Chris, I'm just such a fan of your knowledge. I hope everybody who watching this, you cannot deny the way you rattle off the names of these clubs. And if you watch the previous shows about how you know like who ran against who, your knowledge cannot be denied. We need to start
yeah.
giving credit
Thank
to
you,
people like
thank
yourself
you. I
that are
appreciate it.
doing
I really appreciate it.
that are real. Yeah,
Yeah,
thank
I
you.
learned that the hard way. My stuff too, my pictures. I'm just, yeah, but the Great Seasons in the fight. So over there in that district, they really care about that. Most likely, Chris will come out on top in his race
I
against
plan on helping him. We'll see.
Susan.
Yeah, hopefully he hasn't
Yeah, but
done
you
too
know
much.
why? And
Yeah,
I'll tell you why. Because like Susan wasn't out there. Susan will never talk about the far cap because she's dealing with people that are down with the developers. That's like with Denny Salaz and Jimmy Jam Low, and that could come a problem with her campaign later on because Jimmy Jam Low got sounded rejected for Christopher Marte in 2021, and Denny Salaz got like 12% of the vote against Grace Lee. And the funny thing about it, he came in like that, like think almost the last. Even got endorsed by the DEA, the Detective Endowment Association. He got beaten by a DSA candidate. DSA candidate got 30% of the vote against Grace Lee. So what that tell you? What that people don't want developers in the district. People don't want that developer shit in that district. People are not playing around over there. And Chris Marte, he's actually out there for the people. He don't give a fuck about the cameras. He would do a press conference with no fucking cameras. He don't give a fuck.
appreciate that, man.
So
Yeah,
it was no press out there. I mean, to tell you right now, there was no press. There was like no NBC, no ABC, CBS, nobody out there covering that event. I was out there. I think you had some guys from the paper covering the event, and that's it.
yeah. So I've been trying to contact people from Chinatown, like some groups that I know, NMAS, right, CSWA, like trying to tell them the members to run for county committee, and
Mm-hmm.
they're not really responding. But I do have a work with them going way back. I'm a little wild, but anyway, that's on the side. But another person you mentioned about going against developers was Julie One, and I wish that she was
Yeah,
more responsive, right? Being one of the first Korean Americans,
he,
she actually desubscribed from my mailing list, which was quite sad. But
yeah, it happens. I mean,
it does, yeah. But what do you? That's cool that she's actually going against developers. What do you know about that? That's
all
interesting.
right. So what's going on is she Julie Owens a council member. She serves Long Island City and Astoria. She was on Long Island City and Astoria.
Okay,
She serves basically anything. You take the G train to the first stop of Queens. That'll be 21st Street and 21st, and then Queen Court Square. You take it to Queensboro Plaza, and then you take it to 36th Street, or you take the F to
so
what's
more
the F
towards
train?
Greenpoint, you mean?
You're not you're going up to like the last stop in Queens to the
Oh,
G
okay.
train. Not Green Point. That's Wrestlers
But
District.
that's closer.
Uh,
That's closer. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
she's
anything
further out.
the first two stops in Queens, like technically last two stops in Queens, that's her district. And the Queensbridge projects, Queensboro Plaza, that's her district. So if you look at over there, it's a big developer playground. It's a lot of things going on, things getting knocked down, things getting built up, and etc. Now, developers see there's a lot of business over there. It's a lot of business. They want to knock things down, build a little plate, their little toys up there.
Yeah.
So what's going on is there's certain developers that's affiliated Rebney that want her to approve certain developments, like with the help of certain lobbyists. And her husband, who who don't work for city council, but this family thing that goes on, just like Picky Palladino, they have a tendency of running the office, just like any family member. They'll run the office, they'll run the staff. Even if they're not the chief of staff, they'll run the office. Family. So they had it out against her because she's not budgeting to the lobbyists, and they feel that it's affecting their money because the lobbyists have to deliver. They
Okay.
get paid to deliver results. If they can't deliver results, then they can't get paid. So what's going on is they're trying to put out articles to have a budget, or what make you look like a crooked elected official, will make you look inept. And this what goes on media and the lobbyists. If you don't do what you're told, they will get their little boys and gals with the press to make you look bad. That's the fucking point.
You know, actually, this work that I'm doing with Carmen Bellic was about to make her look bad because the thing is that, right, right, not she's Korean American. I'd love to do more work with her. I don't know why she's not talking to me, but the thing
Mm-hmm.
is, Carmen Bellicu. Not only that, right, she's a Chernobyl survivor. She has
Uh-huh.
lupus. She has a brain tumor, and
Mm-hmm.
she's actually trying to fight eviction. She actually applied for ERAP, where she got her to stay in the apartment. But Julie's one of the people she says not helping her at all. I
Mm-hmm.
also talked to the landlord who's involved with that situation as well. I talked to both sides, and I had them both on camera. He also says that he contacted Julie One's office, and they're not helpful at all. So both
Mm-hmm.
sides are saying that they ran to her for help, and both sides are saying that she's not responsive at all. I also
Mm-hmm.
have documentation showing that I send emails, not responding. I also have the
Mm-hmm.
fact that she actually removed herself from my mailing list. So maybe she is fighting the good fight out there. Maybe she's in a shell.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe she's like, hunkered down and she's like just scared of everybody, not trying to talk to people, or maybe she's just talking to organizations that she feels
Mm-hmm.
is is um, is out there that have a political backing, like some of the organizations that you might, community-based organizations that going to her, the
Mm-hmm.
loudest voices in the room. But as the elf, the representative of the little people that struggle to be heard, the little people that go out and volunteer and get petitions and stuff like that. Julie One has really kind of been disappointing, and I have this. I'm not trying. I don't want to look as a Korean American. I want her to do well. I want
Yeah.
to have more solidarity, and I'm actually happy to see her in office. But I can't deny the fact that I have all this footage and my own personal experience that shows that she does not respond to little people.
Yeah. You're
Maybe she's
correct.
looking out for her interests in the big shot range, but and I
Mm-hmm.
guess she can't talk. Maybe I'll try again, and I'll
Mm-hmm.
document the whole process. Maybe she'll talk to me, maybe she won't, and that'll all
Yep.
be documented. I'm just trying to have a
Mm-hmm.
conversation. That's all. Maybe I got to go to her office. We'll see.
Yeah. You got to. I mean, I had a conversation with somebody yesterday, and I told you, I'm gonna tell all you guys right now, if you want your cause to be heard, go to their offices and talk to them personally.
What you're saying
Go,
sounds good, though. I mean, it's
emails,
tough.
phone calls. They're not going to pick up the phone calls unless you got them to office. They will never pick up your phone calls unless you can get them to your office. They will never pick up. They will never answer emails. So you have to go and go to these guys personally. There's a reason why that the like Boca, New York, and Make the Road, New York, and much as a lot of people that might watch this podcast, this episode, don't like them. They're so successful. You know why? Because they know that giving out an email doesn't work. Giving out a phone call doesn't work. Text doesn't work. Tweets don't work. You gotta trek your ass to the offices. You gotta trek your ass in front of City Hall or Borough Hall or the mayor's
We're gonna
office
do
or
it.
the
We're gonna
Gracie
document the
Mansion,
whole thing.
and
Gonna do it.
and 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 do what you gotta do. I'm not trying to say do anything illegal, but you have to put your ass out
I
there.
don't. I want to be a friend. I'm a Korean
Yeah,
American. I want to
no,
document
I'm just
this whole
saying. I'm telling
process.
people. I'm just saying. I'm just telling people that's here right now. Watching this, you have to put your ass out there and make it that you want their damn attention, and that's what you got to keep on doing it until they listen. Speaking of that, yesterday, if you ever watch a video by How Just Raw, they confronted Senator Cooney, Jeremy Cooney, because he budged down with the developer, something like that. But that's what you got to do. You got to go to these guys' events and ask and talk to them personally. That's the only way you got to do it. Other than that, they don't care. They wouldn't give a fuck. So
Okay.
that's the truth. Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Interesting. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So another thing that we were is coming up actually later today. There's something uh, with Mayor Adams. He's gonna be at Johnson Houses, and
Mm-hmm.
is it Johnson Houses? I should look that up. But I'm supposed to be going out to that today. That has to do with public housing and maybe using ERAP, the ERAP
Mm-hmm.
program, which is federal and state, to try to prevent evictions in the public housing system and to try to get some funding, I guess. So we're gonna find out what that's about. You also have an event coming up later today as well, right?
Holiday event. I got somebody I invite out to that, so I'm go out there. I gotta leave, about to leave in a few minutes to be. Well, listen to this old show. I'm
Oh
out
man,
of
it's
here.
already
So
10. Holy crap! Wow, where'd the time go?
yeah, so I
Okay.
get there. I gotta get there because it takes a long time to get over there. These trains suck. So I mean, the A train sucks. They run funny. So
You know what? Another thing is, I'm a big fan of Crackhead Barney, but I know she's very controversial because of the way that she does her thing. But she's getting attention. The Drag Queen Story Hour thing happened in Manhattan recently.
mm-hmm.
Now, actually, the last time that I went to the one in Jackson Heights, actually, one thing that's really weird about a lot of these leftists, which you're always open, I really appreciate. That's the difference between you and a lot of these other reporters or even people on the ground. When I try to talk to people on the right side, not saying like right as in terms of I'm right, but like the I guess people say Proud Boys, whatever, right? They were actually willing to talk to me, right? But a lot of people on the left side, there were people on the left side who wouldn't talk to me too, but there was a good number of them too who were trying to also say, oh, you're talking to the people on the right side, so we don't want to talk to you at all. We want to actually isolate you, and you're someone bad. Even though I said, what have you actually done for trans people other than come out today and point fingers and stuff? We know that there was a shooting in Colorado, right? And then where actually um, where right wing people or supposed right wing people came in and were actually hurting people. If we listen
Mm-hmm.
to people on the right side to their thing instead of shutting them out, they say a riot is a voice of the unheard. That's Martin Luther King's words. So, um, and actually, was it Crackhead Barney actually interviewed people on the right hand side. That's what I like about her too. She's ready to talk to both sides, even though she's completely outrageous. She's completely off the wall, right? She's still
Mm-hmm.
engaging both sides versus Eric Botcher on the other hand, right? And there's another group I forgot, like United Against Racism or something like that. I have tweets and I have evidence on my channel of this. They're just refusing to engage any at all to have any conversation about how we can have these events in a peaceful way and address the concerns from both sides.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like you're bad because you're against us, and it's very disturbing, man. I really appreciate your openness and willing to talk to both sides.
Yeah, correct. Thank you. I appreciate it.
What do you? So, any other particular thoughts on the Drag Queen Story Hour thing that happened recently in
I
Manhattan?
think it's a broken record. I don't really care about it anymore. It's a
Yeah, they don't
broken
want to
record.
listen to each other. So it's like if they refuse to dialogue, then they want to just vilify the right side and make them look bad, and it's
Mm-hmm.
not a path to peace.
Yeah, it's a broken record. I don't really care no more. It's still about a broken record, to be
I
honest
feel
with
you
you.
on that, man. Also, one thing that's the thing before you go. Amelia Clark, you said from DSA, right? She was recently
Yeah.
on the DSA Slack. I was trying to convince people in DSA to run for county committee. More people running, right? You want to have something by the people, of the people, for the people, right? But Amelia's like, don't run for county committee. You said you had some experiences with her. What do you know about Amelia?
Amelia is no good. They are no good. I'm not trying to misgender. Hello, you misgender the person, so they're
Okay.
they. Um, they are no good.
Why?
It just because like they ran. I think they ran. I think because I think they ran the male female district leader. There's a lot of things with trans stuff. They can run any seat, any gender seat, because they could say I identify as this and they can run for that, whatever, right?
Okay.
So, but they part of the problem. They are part. They one of the main people that helped get that got one of the main people that got Warner Dillon in Warner Dillon in that district.
Who's Warner Dilla?
Warner Dillon is the state
Oh,
assembly
Juan
member.
Ardilla. Okay, Juan
Warner
Ardilla.
Dillon,
Yeah, my
state
bad.
assembly member.
Yeah.
He's one of the main people that got him state assembly member. So he just no good, no good at all. Of course, they're
So
going to
you're saying that
downplay
Amelia's
county.
in bed with the developers?
And bet they actually went out to Benina Vinny and look at some developments over there. They actually went on a taxpayer funded trip to Vienna,
Oh, Vienna, yeah,
Vienna,
yeah.
Vienna.
Also,
So
Julia
it's
Salazar went there. I was like, what?
yep.
Yo, how they taking the money, and instead of like they could help out here, but they went to yeah, it was like, yeah, what is
Hmm.
this, man? Yeah, that Vienna trip was kind of is that how you're helping the people? Come on.
Yeah, I know it's ridiculous.
Yeah, it was really that was kind of disappointing, but
Hmm.
and what did they bring back from there, and how did they really help? I want to
Nothing at
know.
all.
I want to
Me
know.
either. Me too.
Yeah, like for
Of
real,
course
yeah.
they're gonna play. Of course they're gonna play county committee because they know that what keeps the commit. That what keeps the county in power is people not knowing, and
That
they
would keep
know.
them personally in power at the expense of the people that they're supposedly that's what I feel about it. Maybe not. There was supposedly an answer about and I get where I've been talking about that with what's his name um, with Theochino. So he says
Hmm.
like it's demoralizing. So maybe there's some reasons why she feel, and I could see that, right? It's tough to be an
Yeah.
activist like this. So it's
Hmm.
you see having chance for Vienna trip. I mean, I understand why you might want to go on that. You know what I mean? So
Hmm.
you're like, oh well, I deserve this, and yeah, well, yikes. So but you gotta listen to the people, yeah. So that was
Hmm.
a good episode. I know that we both have events to get to today. I'm gonna check the chat right quick to see if anybody's watching, to see if
Hmm.
anybody has any questions that they want to ask us. And then
Yeah.
other than that, then we're gonna have to break out and get to our other activism stuff, which is just nonstop. And happy
Yeah.
birthday again.
Thank you, man.
That's gonna
Appreciate it.
be
Thanks for having me on your
I got
show.
one
I
like,
mean,
oh, Drizzle Stank is here. Oh, Drizzle Stank, he's actually a musician. I love
thank you.
showing up on people these days. People are professional like yours.
Hmm.
That's what he says. Guess my generation, we did business face to face. People are very
Hmm.
self-interested. Stay up, my dude. Got to get back to fixing the fence. Good luck in all endeavors. So, shout out to Drizzle Stank. He has actually a
Yeah.
YouTube show himself, a musician. Yeah.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
And,
Thanks for having me on
and
your
Chris,
show.
thank you so much. Your knowledge as always is so highly appreciated, and I encourage other activists, if you are serious in the game, Christopher Leon Johnson, Chris Leon Johnson on Twitter. You know the deal. God bless. All right.
Thank you. Take care, brother.
Thank you,
Peace
brother.
out.
Cool. Peace.
Later, bro. Peace out.